Welcome back to Gun Freedom Radio, where we engage, we educate, and we inform. We are sponsored by azfirearms.com, the biggest little gun shop in Arizona, and we are glad you're here with us today. If you've missed any portion of this show, please go to gunfreedomradio.com, click the On Demand tab, and you will get an entire list of all of our shows. This is number 103. So you could just binge listen through, your next long drive or the next long weekend or something like that. We really don't hate it when people binge listen. Our theme today is constitutional malpractice. And our next guest is Dan Wos. He's the author of Good Gun, Bad Guy, Behind the Lies of the Anti-Gun Radical, the book that destroys the anti-gun left and exposes all of their lies and propaganda. And he recently published a second book. Dan also writes for American Military News and does speaking events across the country in support of our Second Amendment rights. Dan, we are excited to have you. Are you there?
Hey, Cheryl and Dan, I'm always happy to be on your show. Thanks for having me.
Welcome. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yes, it has.
Absolutely. So we figured you are just such a perfect person for us to talk to when we are in a place right now where there's just all this misdirected anger. There's this narrative going on out there that is just filled with misinformation, disinformation, flat out lies. And it's not everybody on the left. It's not every Democrat. But there is this group, like you say in the lead-in for your book, the anti-gun, the anti-rights left. And you've admitted before you used to stand on that side of the line, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm not proud of it, but it was what brought me to where I am.
Exactly.
So had I not been through that experience, I wouldn't have such a clear view of what's going on over there. I was around guns when I was a kid, so I didn't have that fear of guns. I was familiar with them. We went hunting and target shooting and stuff. But I got involved with the anti-gun crowd, and that propaganda gets in, it seeps in, and you tend to adapt to your environment. And unfortunately, I was in the wrong environment, but eventually I became an adult, and I started to see things with logic. And plus, I had a situation in my life that kind of snapped me out of that illogical, fearful state of mind, and it put me in a place where I recognized the importance of being able to defend yourself and your family. And as I started to research, I started to really see all the misleading tactics and false information that's fed to people on the left to get them to think badly about guns and gun owners.
Well, this makes you such a powerful interpreter for us, because we're actually seeing people on the right who are nibbling at this poisonous fruit and drinking of this tainted Kool-Aid. And it's those same messages that's hitting us in our guilt buttons, right? And, it's like, it kind of sounds like logic, because it's this common sense in air quotes. And it really does start, like you said, it seeps in. And so you've already been there, fought your way out. And we really appreciate you helping to kind of break it down a little bit. Now, I've seen you write and heard you talk about some anti-rights policies that you say are just flat out dangerous. So if we could, help reframe that for people to say that, yeah, there's danger out there, but here's where the danger is, not in this inanimate object called an AR-15, right?
Yeah, the real danger is in the way people are being convinced that guns are dangerous and it's a good thing to denounce them. It's sometimes hard to understand how people who live among us, who are citizens of the United States and call themselves Americans, how they could argue to ban the one thing that gives us control of our destinies and our freedom. So it's really astonishing to watch people do this. They're fighting against themselves and their own freedom. But when you look at it and you start to examine how it happens, which is what I did and which is what I've devoted the last 5 years of research to do, is to try to understand what's going on in their minds. And what happens is it starts from a political place. It starts from a left versus right struggle in our politics, in our world of U.S. politics. And then those people who have control of the narrative will try to convince people who aren't paying attention, who don't critically think this stuff through, that they should kind of go against the one thing that keeps us free, the one thing that gives us power and strength in this country, the one thing that makes this a country that's by the people, where the rules are made by the people and not some dictatorship. But these people want to actually give that up. And that's a scary thought.
It is a scary thought. And it's so, the logic train just jumps its tracks every 5 seconds when I try to really follow what some of the people on the media that are, the commentators or the people they interview, so it's like, all right, so Donald Trump is like the scariest thing that's ever happened to all of life. And so this is the exact moment in time to, disarm all normal, citizens and give more and more and more power to who? Oh, wait, Donald Trump and the politicians in the swamp. Like, what?
There's all sorts of hypocrisy going on there.
Yeah.
But I think you have to really understand that this is not about guns. It's not about any policy, really. It's about it's a team sport. It's a blood sport. And when you get right down to it, it's the liberal left trying to subvert traditional American values and trying to turn this country into something that it was never intended to be. This is why our forefathers were responsible for that Bill of Rights. That Bill of Rights was to protect people from dangerous policies. And all the policies that I see the liberal left trying to put in place are dangerous to anything that resembles traditional American values. The good stuff. This is the stuff that conservatives want. We want our freedoms. We want to be able to protect ourselves and our families. We want capitalism where people will work, provide value and service, and in exchange get an equal value exchange, monetary exchange. We want the good things that we've always known to be good and bring us the American dream. But it would seem that the left wants exactly the opposite. They want government control, and they want to destroy all those wonderful things that we have come to know as the American dream.
Well, I know that you dive deep into these things in both of your books, and so we've got to run, but I definitely want you to let people know how they can get both. Good Gun, Bad Guy, first edition, is Behind the Lies of the Anti-Gun Radical, and Good Gun, Bad Guy 2, Destroying the Anti-Gun Narrative. How do folks reach out to you, follow you and the work you do, and buy those books?
Well, the easiest way to get the book is goodgunbadguy.net or goodgunbadguy.com. There's also a media page at goodgunbadguy.net where there's tons of interviews where I talk about all these things, all the topics related to the gun conversation. You can follow me on Facebook. My name is Dan Wos, and it's spelled D-A-N. Last name is W-O-S, as in Sam. And or they can follow me on Twitter.
Absolutely. And on our gunfreedomradio.com page, there is a guest tab as well as an on-demand tab. And you have your own guest page on there with links to all of that. So if somebody didn't have a pen in hand, they can just definitely go there and follow all that you do. Dan, thank you so much for all the work that you do for the care that you've put into critically thinking and becoming our interpreter to help us kind of break down some of the mysticism and the myths that are being perpetrated out there like truth.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you, guys. You're doing a fantastic job as well.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Thank you
very
so
much.
much. All right, Dan, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.